Hello, and welcome to the next edition of All or Nada According to Jack. As you can see, I'm wearing one of my Christmas presents. Unfortunately, didn't bring them very good luck. They scored one touchdown during garbage time against the Eagles, much to my chagrin, but I digress. So, in any event, the background of today is something that I had planned for when I was going to do the Eagles, not the Eagles, the Beatles Get Back documentary review, but I forgot to do it. So we'll use it now since our topic today is going to be music related. No Seinfeld. So anyway, these ideas that I get, I would say I have about maybe 6 to 8 months worth of ideas for shows, and but you have like a log jam of different ideas, and what do I talk about this week versus what do I talk about next week? But my son Jason gave me a great idea. I didn't know that being both of us being members of Spotify, that they'll give you a summary of everything you've listened to for the whole year. So we'll start off by showing the generational gap between Jason and myself. All the things, music he listens to versus what I listen to. And I guess how close-minded I am. But so not only does it tell you the top songs you've listened to for 2021, it tells you who your top groups are, and it tells you your top genres. So Jason's top genres, for somebody in his mid-20s, number 5, neo soul. Number 4, soul, which I'm kind of into that too. Number 3, art pop. Number 2, alternative hip hop, for shame. Number 1, and I actually like some of this music, indie rock. Who knows? Maybe I'll talk about this on the show in time. But so versus things that I listen to, and my number 5, you're going to laugh because this is not me at all. Contemporary country. The only reason this is in my list is because we have a second home upstate, and we've been doing a lot of work to try and get it to where we can sleep there, for maybe a week, 2 weeks, weekends at a time. So right now we can't sleep there, but hopefully by late spring, summer, we will be. But I enlisted some help, some of my relatives and in-laws, and they all listen to country music. So to make everybody happy, I gave them a day of country, and apparently Spotify recognized that. But anyway, so my number 4, progressive rock. Kind of know that. Number 3, hard rock. Number 2, power metal. And number 1, classic rock. Not much to be said there. I'm a little surprised that power metal didn't take number 1. So now we're going to look at the top groups comparing Jason to myself. For Jason, number 5, a band called Deerhoof. Not Deer Antler, Deerhoof. Number 4, this is not a surprise, I'm sure. A lot of people may have heard of them before. Radiohead. Borderline prog rock at times. Number 3, the Marias. Never heard of them. Number 2, Fiona Apple. I guess I have heard of her. Just never heard her music. Number 1, Tyler, the Creator. Don't know who he is either. I'm assuming hip hop. My top 5. Okay. And I'm a little surprised at some of these. So number 5, prog metal band that I absolutely love, Symphony X. Number 4, power metal at its finest. Primal Fear, very Judas Priest sounding band from Germany. Great band. I did get to see them once. Number 3, and I did miss their show recently. I had too much going on, except they played 2 shows in the New York area. One right by me at Mulcahy's in Wantagh, and another show at the Chance in Poughkeepsie, where you may have seen pictures of certain members of the Sea of Tranquility were in attendance at that show. Not to worry, I've seen them like 4 or 5 times in the last several years. Number 2, probably the softest band in my top tier of 3 favorite groups, Jethro Tull. Love them. Number 1, not a surprise, Judas Priest, who there was a question on Jeopardy tonight. And basically the gist of the question was, Rob Halford is the leader of this band that's presented 50 years of heavy metal. And this middle-aged lady actually got the question right. What do you know? So that's that. So a little generational divide, but thank you for the idea, Jason. One thing also to note on this show, I am going to have, as the show starts to progress in the coming weeks, I am going to start to have some guests on the show. Could be a few people from Sea of Tranquility, but I'm also looking to introduce a new cast of characters. And characters, it doesn't give it justice. These are going to be some real characters. I was actually thinking of doing a show with my son Jason, but we had to postpone that, maybe in a couple weeks. So stay tuned. So now what we're going to talk about is Spotify was nice enough to give us my top 100 songs that I listened to for the year 2021. I'm just going to go through my top 20. So, and basically what I did was I snapshotted them on my phone. So number 20, another power metal band that I love, Hammerfall, Swedish metal band, a song called Fury of the Wild. Wonderful riff. Number 19, and I really did not start listening to this band until 2021. Reason being, Pete asked me if I wanted to do a show with him on this band, so I did some research, did a lot of listening, and I grew to really like this band. I'm talking Metal Church, a metal band from the West Coast. The song for number 19, Over My Dead Body, my top song of Metal Church. Number 18, I'm not a huge fan of this band. I know they cleaned up at the Grammys in the early 80s with Rosanna and Africa, I miss the rains down in Africa. I'm talking Toto, but the song Hold the Line, probably their biggest hard rocker. Number 17, ZZ Top. Love these guys from the album Tres Hombres. They have a song called Jesus Just Left Chicago. It's part of a medley of 2 songs. We'll get to the other one soon. Number 16, Molly Hatchet, Bounty Hunter. Love that song. All right, number 15. This is a song for all you people that are married and have trouble in your marriage and you want to have a little fun. Take the song that kind of lampoons marriage. It's a song by a band called Y&T that I was very familiar with back in the 80s. A song called Mean Streak. 14, a song by Dio era Black Sabbath. Love this song. First song on the first album they did. Just starts out with this incredible groove and riff, Neon Nights. Back to ZZ Top. The first song of that medley, Waiting for the Bus. That comes in at number 13. Number 12, a song by Rush, Limelight, off of Moving Pictures. Number 11, Smokin' by Boston. So, little more about these songs. Probably the reason they crept up as my top songs listened to. I love to put a lot of playlists together, and it's probably a culmination of playing these playlists over and over and taking these favorite songs of mine by these certain groups and stuffing them into these playlists. So, and they counted up the the top plays. So number 10, a song that I love, absolutely loved by The Who, comes off the album Quadrophenia. Out of my brain on the 515. Love that song. 515 it is, yes. Number 9. I know, I'm not going to say it again. Number 9. Okay, so number 9 is a song by Accept, which really helped get me into this band. I heard them play this song on XM radio. So one thing led to another. I bought the CD and I fell in love with them. And then I started buying all the CDs in their back catalog and in their forward catalog, etc., etc. We're talking a song off of the album Blood of the Nations, Teutonic Terror. Another incredible riff. Number 8 is a song by Blue Oyster Cult, a song that I fell in love with back in my youth from listening to classic rock radio. Just love that, that chord progression and what do you call it? Just the individual tabs to that song. Don't Fear the Reaper. Of course, there's the cowbell. Number 7, a song by Iron Maiden off of the album. What's their third album called? I can't think of it. Number of the Beast. Yes, that's it. Number of the Beast. It's the song Run to the Hills. The Plight of the Native Americans. Great song. And it's short. Why couldn't Iron Maiden do some more short burners on their album Senjutsu? But we'll get to that another time. Number 6. This is another band that I got into courtesy of Sea of Tranquility. And no, I didn't rate this band, but Pete loves them. A few others in our panel of occasional guests love this band. From listening to some of Pete's top 10s and ranking the albums and dream set lists, I did some listens and I fell in love with them too. That coupled with the fact that they occasionally play them on XM radio, talking about UFO. The song Lights Out, that is my number 6. So now we're going to get to my top 5. Number 5, and I just listened to them in the car as I went to pick up my daughter Sam and her boyfriend George at LaGuardia Airport. By the way, I have to tell you, if you are a person who engineered the whole rebuild of LaGuardia Airport, do a better job. It was a freaking nightmare for me to try to get around that airport to find arrivals for Terminal B. So whoever designed that, go back to engineering school, because I had a bitch of a time finding it. I digress. So number 5 is a song by Led Zeppelin off of Led Zeppelin 3, Immigrant Song. Number 4, this band put this album out in 2018, and I am very proud of them. They did an amazing, amazing job. Proves to me that they still have it. I'm talking my own Judas Priest. The title track to the album, Firepower. Great, great song. Great album. If you haven't checked it out, put it on your list. Do so. Number 3, this is a little bit of a surprise, and it's not Iron Maiden. This is Bruce Dickinson solo. It's off of an album called Accident of Birth, The Magician. Another killer riff, short song. Like I said, I wish they would, granted, I know that they've progressed and they've become more of a prog metal band. They have 2 recent albums. The album Book of Souls, which I really liked. And me and Brother Lee went and saw them at Barclays in Brooklyn. Great concert. So what do? They put out another album this year called Senjutsu. And while it's not terrible, you know what? It's a little more of the same thing. And I would have liked a few of those old barn burners in there to kind of break things up a bit. Not everything on the album has to be 10 minutes long. Priest, they kind of prove that. All right, number 2. I mentioned this band earlier, Primal Fear. Love this band. When I first heard them, they sounded like a Judas Priest sound-alike, but they diversified on their own to basically have their own sound and their own brand, and they are great. Song called Eye of an Eagle. Check it out if you haven't. All right, brings us to number 1, and I was a little surprised at this. Symphony X, prog metal band. These guys have all the chops. Amazing players, amazing singer. From Russell Allen's the singer's name. From what I understand, he actually took part in the Trans-Siberian Orchestra concerts recently. Good for you, Russell. You deserve it. In any event, so they have an album out called no, not Communion in the Oracle. I can't think of the name of the album. Maybe if I wind it, Divine Wings of Tragedy is the name of the album. Song, and this is a song that they play in concert all the time. They are either open it with it, they close with it, or they'll have it as the last song in their encore of Sins and Shadows. Another one of those 3-4 minute short burners, but it showcases their ability. Some great choruses in that song, vocal harmonies, etc. Keyboards, lead guitar by Michael Romeo. Freaking amazing. Check them out if you haven't heard of them. Or you may have heard of them, but you never heard their music. Do check them out. So that is it for All or Nada, according to Jack, for this episode. I will see you probably maybe mid to late next week. I'm going to try and record a couple things because my son Jason and I are planning on going to Florida for maybe a week and a half next week. I can't wait. I need some better weather. So, but we'll be in touch. Also, I just wanted to note that in the next day or 2, I will be on with Pete Pardo on the Sea of Tranquility for another new concept show that we came up with. And then I will probably be on over the weekend with Pete Pardo and another member. So stay tuned, and I will see you soon. Have a good one. And if I don't speak to you before, have a happy new year.